So we were on the subject of meal prepping and kind of working out some of those ideas. So I'm curious, do you have any new foods that you're looking at trying?
There's one that I'm looking at right now. It's a slow cooker meal. It's a like queso mac and cheese, or
Oh,
not queso, chorizo. My
mm.
bad. I love chorizo, so it sounds really good, and it's of course something that portion control is going to be a really big thing because stuff like that isn't very good for you. But and
Well, let's talk about what's good.
good and
It's
bad.
yeah, it's chorizo
Mhm.
is very flavorful
No,
because it is
delicious.
ultra high fat.
Mhm.
I love chorizo as well, so a little bit goes a long way.
Yep,
So portion
100%.
control is important
Mhm.
with it. It doesn't mean that you can't have it.
Well, of course.
Hmm.
Well, you can't cut everything out that you enjoy because then you'll never succeed in anything when it comes to eating healthy or changing those habits. So you still have to have some of it. That's why I talked about the pizza and the burger stuff that I like to make.
Yep.
Um,
And you're still hitting your goals.
yep.
So that's the key is knowing where is my sweet spot. Am I portioning out? We talked about portion tactics that work. Am I still satisfied? Because satisfaction is key to long-term success.
Yep, and that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to find, like, for me, there were several meals that I made originally when I started with all this back in February, that I did not like. I ate them because I paid for the food and I was going to eat it. Never thought I'd say that when I was a kid, but it was one of those things. Trial and error. I figured out certain things that I liked, certain things that I didn't. Some things it was like desserts. I'm not a huge dessert fan, but I like having something sweet every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain no bake cookie doughs and stuff like that that I've made.
I'm interested in hearing what is that about.
It's the recipe on the top of my head. I can't quite remember, but it's using Greek yogurt and protein and peanut butter.
So protein, you mean like a protein shake mix?
Yes,
powder?
Yeah, like
Okay.
a powder, like a scoop of protein mix to kind of give it the same consistency as cookie dough.
So was it satisfying?
Yes, very. Yep.
Because sometimes we can make those alternatives that are supposed to be higher protein and less fat, less sugar, and they're not as satisfying.
So I've made 3 or 4 different ones. 2 of them I really liked. 2 of them were all right. I could stand them. They weren't bad by any means. Definitely something that a lot of people would enjoy. Just wasn't my personal taste. It was one of those things, even with cookie dough, I would have way less portion because I just wanted that little bit of sweetness. So I didn't need to make a lot. And a lot of them were focused on, okay, this can make 5 cookie dough balls. And I didn't need that. I just wanted one little scoop with my spoon, and that was, good enough for me. But super easy to make. They only take a couple of minutes to make, and it's something that can satisfy that sweet tooth without being, completely sugar, is using things like Greek yogurt and stuff like that, things that are a little healthier.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them with cottage cheese. A little weird to me, so I haven't tried those ones.
You haven't tried it yet?
Greek yogurt I'm fine with. I love cottage cheese. Cottage cheese and cookie dough, I'm good on that
Doesn't sound good?
No, I'll stay away from that one.
Cottage cheese can be fairly, it can be integrated into some of those fairly well.
It's become a trend though, and that's the problem. Every recipe I see is trying to put it in something.
Yeah.
So kind of staying away from it. Cottage cheese is getting expensive.
So you don't need to do the cottage cheese to make it effective. But I think you made a really good point is even if you're looking at losing weight, in order for this to be sustainable, not only do you need to add in foods that you enjoy, but you need to add in those treats and find that level of moderation, which may be different for everybody.
Yep.
We need to find the level of moderation, get satisfaction out of that treat in a smaller portion, and we gauge it by, is it right for you, by saying, am I still hitting my goals?
Yep.
If I look at measuring, whether it's my waist circumference or my labs, my weight, which we try to avoid doing weight, but weight is a measurement tool. It's just not the only one.
Yep.
So if we're measuring all that and we're seeing progress, that's the way to say, yep, I'm staying in that sweet spot for me.
Yep.
Literally, like I get enough sweet, but I'm still hitting my goals. And I'm all about adding what we call habituation.
Mm-hmm.
So if we stay away from it, we want it more.
Yep.
But if we add little bits in, it's easier to reduce that emotional connection to the food. And you may find that if you habituate it, add it in on a regular basis, you'll do that for a period of time, then you just kind of forget about it. You may like, oh, I didn't even have a sweet today, and you don't care anymore.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, or maybe you do, and maybe some days you might have 2, 3 of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's also choosing, a better alternative, not getting the king size bar of everything every single time kind of thing.
The better alternative, like adding a sweet that has a little bit of protein in it.
Yep.
Sometimes smoothies or protein shakes can sometimes be a great satisfaction for it. But I think that there's a trap there.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah. So if we think it's a healthier sweet, there's a tendency, yes, to justify it. Be like, well, this is only a salad. I can eat as much as possible.
No, supersize it.
Right. So careful on those thoughts. We still want to. Even if you choose to make the healthier options like what you did,
portion control.
It's always going to be a portion control.
That's what it all comes down to. Like the biggest thing that we've talked about is portion control. Everything comes down to that, because you can make the healthiest thing in the world and you eat too much, it's still not good for you. So,
but I do find there's also another component. So sometimes that works for some people, and portion control is excellent. Other times we need to look at overeating and what's driving hunger, because we can portion out, but if we're still hungry and we're driving it, our hunger is being driven by our food choices. So sometimes diets high in processed food, or diets in getting that trifecta, or the psychological eating, we can have portion control, but our hunger is wide open.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay attention to all the factors, because I mean, if you're exercising more or more active that day or that week, whatever, it's all going to change. So
you're going to have higher hunger. Yep. But you have less psychological hunger.
True.
It's actual physical hunger. So that's where we get back to that list.
Yep.
That list is great because it helps you discern that and say, yep, I'm actually hungry and I need a little bit more food, as opposed to it being psychological hunger. And maybe I need to make better food choices, or I need to get in some exercise or sleep.
Yeah. Sleep.
So we can help reduce that hunger down. Because if we don't address that, sometimes portion control backfires on us.
100%.
But we do eat. We were talking earlier about controlling our environment, and we have some really interesting research that shows that we eat to the size of our container. And we were just in a town, and we went through an antique shop, and in the antique shop was all of the old plates and cups. And it's amazing how much larger even our dinnerware has become.
No kidding.
So do you remember the juice cups? You might be a little bit too young for it. I remember growing up with the juice cups. The juice cups were 4 ounces. And that is still the same recommendation, 4 ounces of juice per day. But what size of juice cups do we have now?
Probably 12-ounce cups at least.
Yes. Yep. So we had the 4-ounce juice cups and the 8-ounce milk cups. Those were the standard, and a lot of the plates were either 8. They were typically about an 8-inch plate. Our plates now, I remember in clinic, I had people measure their plates and come home, guess what their plate size was at home, and they measured them all, and not a single one of them are 8 inches. Almost all of the plates now are 12 inches.
No kidding.
So you think about how much extra
I might
food.
have ones that are 8 inches. I have a small and large one.
What I like is that some of those paper plates are actually 8 inches.
No, mine definitely aren't. I always buy the biggest ones.
Okay, so
I don't portion control on them. I just buy the biggest ones because easier.
More value.
They're cheaper.
More value.
Oh, they're always the cheap ones. The smaller ones are always more expensive for some reason.
But I think it's a great tactic when we look at somebody that has a hard time, that eats too fast, or eats with their eyes, or has a hard time slowing down. One of the things that we do to trick that is reduce the size of our plate.
Makes sense.
So then you don't need to put so much pressure on yourself to slow down. You're automatically if you eat that fast, you're just going to need to wait 20 minutes after you eat it, even if you ate it fast. Because slowing down is hard.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's hard for most people.
Oh, we talked about that.
So shrink the size of your container, and that will help. Especially with nuts. I think nuts are a big one.
That's not something I enjoy very much.
You don't like nuts?
Now.
Oh, yeah. The only reason I say that with nuts is because they are high fat. So, a handful of nuts can be 200 calories. So, and I know how a lot of men will eat nuts as handfuls at a time. And that can be 1, 2, 3. I mean, we can get 500 calories like that. It's healthy fat, but it still needs to be portioned.
Makes sense.
So if it's something like that for you, chips are another one. They have high calories in them. So a little bit goes a long way. Portion that size out. So looking at some of your foods that you're thinking about prepping, what are some things that is there anything else that is on the horizon for you?
I have other stuff. I have a bunch of stuff written down.
Where do you find these recipes?
I look all over. I read different. I'll look up different ideas, or if there's something specific I want, I'll start looking up recipes. And then I've come across a lot on Facebook, on YouTube. Those are the better ones.
Is it the videos?
Because you can see the video, and for me, it's not that I'm watching it while I'm cooking, going, I'm following the directions, following what they're doing. It's I will watch the video and go, yeah, that looks good at the very end.
Yep.
And then I'll make it. I'll get the recipe for it.
And
sometimes it's easier to follow the recipe, with them actually doing it. But a lot of times I just look at what the recipe is and follow it that way. I just want to see if it looks appetizing to me. If it doesn't, then I won't do it.
And doable.
Yep. And doable. Yeah. There's a big one.
Even if it's fast, you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't look like it's a lot of steps.
Yep.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Which is much easier than just a picture.
Well, and you got to look. A lot of them are on the shorts now. They're the 60-second clips. So you sit there and watch it and you're like, all right, that definitely was a lot longer than 60 seconds. So how long is this going to take me?
Right. It's all about easy.
Yep.
So the videos do help. And I know that the videos are more than just the picture at the end, because otherwise the picture would be enough.
Yep. 100%.
So it is about seeing different angles, seeing do I need any additional skills that I don't have, or tools that I don't have? Because if they got to that portion in their recipe calls for a slow cooker or pressure cooker that you don't have, you're going to bypass that one.
Well, and that was the whole reason, like with me with a slow cooker. I have one. I never used it. I've had it forever. Never used it, and decided, no, well, that recipe sounds good. It shouldn't be that hard to make. I'll make it and I'll try it. And it turned out awesome. It's something I'm going to be re-prepping again. And then, the other one with the chorizo, I'm going to be doing that. That's also a slow cooker meal. So once you try certain things, I bought a couple different things that I didn't have before, and I'll use them for different recipes, or realize there were some things where, I could use that, technique or that, piece of equipment for this piece instead as well. So.
Yep. What I love, just saw, and this is I have a waffle maker. And we were talking about breakfast, and one of my favorite is a high protein, low carb waffle that I make and freeze for the morning. That's one of my favorites, which it also has like Greek yogurt in it and some of those, and protein shake in it, protein mix in it. But with another way of using the waffle iron, because it's this iron that takes up space in your kitchen, and you make one thing with it. So it seems like, I love waffles.
Unnecessary.
Right. But there was a way to do, is to put rice in it. So say you have leftover rice, throw rice in it and cook it down, kind of brown your rice, and then start building up from there. You can do a Mexican dish with that and build up there. Or you can do it on more of a Chinese side. So say like fried rice or sushi. Like if you wanted to do some salmon and avocado on the top of your rice. So I thought, oh, I just saw somebody using the waffle iron for the rice, and I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of ideas that can come to mind.
There you go. And it's amazing what other people come up with. I am not one of the ones that comes up with any of that stuff, but I see some of it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna try that.
Yep. And if you get creative, like I can see one and then get creative on a lot of different ways that we can apply that. But it's interesting. I think it's great for kids. Because it makes it fun and it's something that the kids would like, where maybe they might have the salmon that's really good for your brain, or it's some of those healthier fats with it. So sense. And easier, and you don't have just a waffle iron that is only made for waffles.
One thing.
But waffles are good to make, especially when you do the high protein waffles, and for sandwich instead of bread.
Not my chocolate chip waffles. Those aren't the healthy
ones. They're not always the dessert. But we can add those desserts in, right?
I just remember always having those as a kid.
The chocolate chip waffles.
Those are the ones I liked.
I was back with family and had the kids, and we were making waffles and asked if they wanted blueberries in the waffles. And they're like, absolutely not. No blueberries in the waffles. But then they tried it. Oh, yeah, they like blueberries in the waffles.
That's the only time I like blueberries.
Is in the waffles? Plus, they make pretty colors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that you could do with the meal prep. But so I think of one good tactic or thing to think about, like a good take home is just get out there, right?
Yeah, just try different things. I mean, you have to. You're never going to know. There could be something that you could try that you never would have thought you would have liked. And, you may find yourself enjoying stuff. Like I'm enjoying with the cooking when I take that day. I turn on music, blast my music, enjoy myself, and cook up a bunch of different meals. So,
and be open for failure.
No, of course, because I've burnt plenty of stuff that has not turned out that I'm not talking about.
I think it's a big barrier. So you think I know I'm not a good cook, but you have found that it works fairly well.
Yeah, and a lot of things are just take your time and be slow with it and know what you're getting yourself into. So that's the nice thing about the videos is you get to see what everybody's doing and kind of go, okay, is that too much? Is that too am I going to be able to do that? I have a terrible attention span, so me cooking is something that's hard. So something like the slow cooker is really, really good for me. Whereas, if I was doing a big meal or something like that, that's a whole different story. That'll never get finished. I'll start half of it and then I'll start the other half of it and I won't know where it,
might burn it. Right.
So.
Yep. So it's getting started, but the key was choosing recipes with foods that you would enjoy.
Yep. And that's where you got to start. Things that you want, the things that'll actually satisfy you, not, okay, because this is supposed to be healthy, I'm going to choose this recipe of just kale.
I don't like just kale.
But that's, you got to choose recipes and there are a lot of better, healthier alternatives to other things. I've seen funny people that make healthier variations of, something that tastes similar to like a McDonald's cheeseburger or a pizza or tacos, whatever, healthier versions of them with better portion control.
Yep.
So you can still have the same things, just takes a little more effort.
It's not about a perfect tasteless diet. That's not where you're going to get success. Yep. You're going to get success by choosing foods that you enjoy, portion control, and just getting out there and trying them.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Great stuff.